So you were saying something earlier about the disparity in the figures.
We were trying to say that there are different reasons why people do not participate in the electoral process. That you have some category of persons who feel that the government already decided who they want to lead, and that the system do not enhance transparency, and that even if you decide to participate, it may be a waste of time. There are some people who fall into that category, and for them, it's a no-no for them. They don't want to participate. You have another category of people who they are not interested at all. Not because the system is failing them, not because they feel the government already stereotype who they want to hand over to, but because they are not interested, they stand aloof. There's another category of that nature. So it is not restricted to Nigeria when you talk of voter apathy. I don't think there's anywhere in the world where you see democracy being practiced, where you see 100% participation in terms of number of people who register for election. So I don't think that is something to worry much about. I bet if it comes to perhaps, let's say, the level of participation is falling below, let's say 35%, 25%, then it should be a thing of concern. But however I look at it, the more people participate, the better for the system.
Now, what can be done, especially with this set of categories of people you've just mentioned? One, they just feel that my vote, there's no way it will count because already whom they want to have as a leader is already, very much predetermined. And of course, this other set of people who, they don't just want to get involved in politics, just as you explained, they just want to stand aloof. So what could be done, in the area of these two categories in order to help boost the level of, election participation?
One, you need voter advocacy. You need sensitization. You need to tell the people why they need to participate in the process. Because if they want good governance, they should participate to determine who becomes their leader. And again, if you are looking at another way of trying to make people participate, you see that you need to strengthen the electoral process, enhance more credibility, build confidence. And the only way you can do that is to ensure that vote counts. Because over the years, since we started this national democracy, most Nigerians who have witnessed Nigerian election already feel that Nigerian system of election is not credible. We have had the era of ballot snatching, ballot stuffing. We are even up to do that.
Even we're experiencing
ballot snatching. But I think ballot stuffing is what is not currently being experienced.
How about people being threatened to vote a particular party, which we saw video circulating?
That is a new threat now. Now we are equally seeing a situation where even Beavers itself is being targeted. So for me, I think you need to build people's confidence. And that is why if you see the way Nigerians, especially the youth, had that mind, vigor, to participate in this process currently, it is as a result of the confidence that they have in the system that the vote will count because of the new strategy or the new technology that INEC tried to introduce into the system. So for me, if you build confidence of the people, it will enhance more participation.
Now let's go over to the issue of late declaration of results, especially in Lagos, as it were, and in other states. It's over 24 hours. And yet there is still, this late declaration of result. What is the reason behind this? And what, indication is it going to give to the electorate?
Okay, I think for me, there are some areas where INEC may be genuine in their late declaration of results. Because if you have a situation where there is violence and the election could not be concluded, I don't think we can blame that on INEC because INEC do not control the security.
But that's just 1 in a million.
I'm coming. So on that area, I don't think it's the fault of INEC if election is lingering beyond the time we expect the result to be declared. But there's another angle to it. if INEC deliberately delay results, like we see and hear in some parts, they will tell you that people colluded with INEC to manipulate the system or to tamper with the results. I think, though that one may be speculative, but this is not the first time we are hearing it. And you cannot deny the fact that we have some unpatriotic Nigerians who may be working for INEC, who collude with politicians to circumvent the will of the people. So it is, we have multifarious factors that may cause that. But however I look at it, all the stakeholders need to synergize to address it. Because INEC on its own do not control, do not manage security. So if you have security issue and it's affecting an election, it's not being addressed by security agencies, I don't think the INEC will be handicapped. So that's why INEC need to synergize with the security agencies to ensure that we have a seamless process.
So how about in a situation where even pressmen are denied access into polling unit? For instance, I had a very ugly experience yesterday somewhere at Mowe area in that market there, where even some individuals who were perceived to be responsible adults came towards us and told us, sorry, you can't in any way cover this election going on here. Even when we saw visible presence of security agencies, I'm talking about the military, I'm talking about the police, they were right there doing nothing. And these men almost attacked us, telling us that if we don't leave, they were going to hit us with charms and all that. What do you say about such places? Even right there, I noticed a lady was looking worried, perhaps, you know, a little bit scared, maybe because she was not willing to cast a ballot for the right person because of those kind of threats. So what do you say about that?
Definitely, once you see such scenario, it tells you that there is something sinister. It tells you that they are manipulating this, the process. It tells you that they want to rig the election. There's no truth about it, because otherwise, there's no reason any person should bar press from covering election process.
Now,
and also, as you said you have security agencies around. Don't forget that you have cases even in the past where security agencies will see people rigging the election, they will look the other way. So I'm not surprised. Such scenario tells you that the election is being rigged in such environment.
So in that situation now, what do you think needs to be done, especially with regards to results that will be coming out from such polling unit? What do you say about
Definitely,
that?
the result that comes out from such
will not in any way reflect the wishes of the people.
Compromised. There is no way it can reflect the wish of the people. And it is even, we have seen some videos where some persons threaten some political party not to even vote. There were even some threat that if you are voting for a particular political party, if you are not voting for a particular political party, that you should not enter, you should not come close to the polling unit. We have even seen a video where a gate was shut against everyone that want to vote against a particular political party. So for me, I think all of this boil down to the office of Mr. President, who doubles as the president and the commander of the armed forces. Though for me, I think in this circumstance, this election, Mr. President has shown some level of statesmanship in trying to make sure that he give everybody level playing ground. But it's unfortunate that you have Nigerians who are in these military and police who may not be patriotic, but that is not to say it is everybody.
Now, what could be done to really address this issue? Because one could think that with the presence of security agencies, I am safe to go there and cast my vote. But the reverse is the case. So what could be done to really correct this abnormality?
The only thing you can do to correct it is to have a system that is unbiased, that is ready to prosecute and that is ready to investigate and bring anybody that is found wanting to book. Otherwise, it continues. Don't forget that even in this country, we have instances where Amnesty International will indict Nigerian police, indict maybe some other security agencies, instead of the government doing the needful, getting to the root of the matter and sanctioning whoever is involved. In some of the cases, they will target Amnesty International, a partisan organization. So such issues do not help to address all these anomalies. So the only way you can address it is if you see it happen, irrespective of who is involved. It doesn't matter whether the person who is being mentioned is linked to a political party. Let us have an unbiased investigation. And once somebody is indicted, let that person go in for it. That's why I was very happy before this election when I saw the National Security Advisor in the person of Mungunu warning, reading the Riot Act to Nigerians, warning will be criminals, that if you try to circumvent the process, it doesn't matter whether you are from Mr. President's party, that the law will come heavily against you.
But we have seen it happen, especially on Saturday's election, where somebody was threatening. It was a video circulating the internet where an individual was threatening that if it is not for a particular party, of course, the ruling party, you will not be allowed here.
That is why.
Are you also aware that the international community is watching? The whole world is watching.
They are not just watching, but they are observing.
So what could be done in this instance where up to this time we have not seen people who have been arrested, we have not seen people who have been prosecuted?
That is why we are watching and waiting and see the reaction of the government, because the video you said, the video you mentioned, you referred to, I'm equally privy to it. I've seen it. I've seen some of those videos online, and videos don't lie. So for me, I think we are looking up to the government to see how they handle it. Because how they address it will determine what happens in the near future.
All right, now let's look at the coming election. I mean, the governorship election, and of course, the House of Assembly elections. What is your thought on that, especially with regards to the faith Nigerians have on INEC, considering what just happened on Saturday, where a lot of disenfranchisement was, experienced, and of course, voter apathy?
To be quite honest with you, if INEC do not take steps to correct what is happening currently and to make Nigerians believe that what happened in terms of not being able to upload result from the polling unit to INEC portal is not deliberate, you are going to see more serious level of voter apathy in the next round of election, which is the governorship and House of Assembly elections. Because the only thing that gave Nigerians hope to participate in the process is the confidence that their vote will count. So if they are already seeing situation or signal from INEC that their vote is not likely to count or their vote is not counting, definitely they are not going to participate in the next round of election. There's no two ways about it. So I think what INEC should do is, because INEC should encourage people who have this result that is from the polling units to go to access the INEC viewing portal, to compare the result they have, whether it tallies with what is uploaded to INEC viewing portal. Because that's the only way you can convince people that actually the vote that was casted at the poll is a reflection of the result we are seeing at the state level and that we'll subsequently see at the national level.
Now, looking at the fact that for every election, it's about 4 years planning. If I'm right, you may put me. And looking at the situation of things, Nigerians are saying that nothing new would, be nothing happening to Nigerians right about now is new. And of course, there's nothing that will change, especially looking at the fact that what just happened in the presidential election might likely happen in the governorship election, which is just a few months from now.
If you say election, INEC start preparation, have 4 years for preparation of election, you are completely right. Because even as we speak, the moment they finish the election, they start preparing for the next round of election. So to that extent, INEC have no reason to fail.
But actually, they failed Nigerians on Saturday.
Of course.
So what is the likelihood that
nothing
will change?
That's what I'm trying to say, that the only way, because for me, if you even look at the reason they gave for logistic problem, the INEC was quoted to have said that it is perennial problem. Meaning it is the same problem they had in 2015, they had in 2019, that is what they are currently having. So it means they are not learning, they are not improving in terms of resolving the logistic challenges that they have been having.
Despite the amount being invested?
Despite the amount being invested, despite the fact that even the money that they felt would be a challenge, CBN released to them. So for me, INEC have no reason to fail, and if they fail in this manner, I think they need to probe the activities.
Now, looking at the fact that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC presidential, candidate lost in his local government, do you think he's in any way losing relevance politically?
I don't think so.
Why?
Because you look at the dynamics. You look at, let me tell you one thing, in Lagos State particularly, the voting pattern in this election has to do with the characteristics of the electorates in each and every constituency. Because we discovered that in Lagos State, people who normally go for PDP before now went for a Labour Party. And once you see any area that is dominated by non-indigens, whether from the middle belt, from the south, from the southeast, there is tendency that they will vote for the Labour Party. That notwithstanding, we still have a good number of people from the southwestern part of the country who synergize with them to vote for the Labour Party. And I think it's because of the character of and the integrity of the Labour Party's candidate. But that notwithstanding, I think Ikeja happen to be one of such area where you have a good concentration of people who fall into that category. I think that is the reason you see that election result. So I don't think that in any way have made the man to lose relevance politically. I don't think so.
Now, so far, though the results are still coming in, but how can you score the conduct and the performance of INEC so far on this presidential election?
For me, INEC have failed. INEC have failed because the very basis on which election should be judged have been compromised. I say have been compromised because the reason INEC is giving for me is not justified. Because we had an election in the past where they were able to transmit election results electronically to INEC server in 2019. The only difference was that they were not empowered by the Constitution to use the result transmitted to INEC server to return a winner. So for me, INEC, if you want to assess the performance of INEC in this election, it is failure. Because INEC spokesman told us that the beavers is going to be the ultimate arbiter, the judge in this election. I have a situation where people would have voted at the polling unit. Their vote is not uploaded to an INEC portal in their presence. The vote is taken away from them to the next level, which is the ward level, registration area. And once that happens, they are not in any way close to where they can protect their votes. And who know whether the vote will be manipulated or not. That now set the stage for people to start casting doubt on the credibility of the election and start rejecting the result like we are seeing currently.
Now, what is your outlook as we go for the next round of the election, which is the governorship election and the House of Assembly election?
What happens after this election, by the time INEC will finish the collation at the national level and return a winner, will determine how the next round of election will be. Because once people lose confidence that their vote did not count, I will tell you for sure that a good number of electorate will not participate.
What are your fears for things that are likely to happen, especially with regards to the last experience we just saw?
The fear is still the same thing, that most Nigerians will not participate. And if you have a few people participating, you cannot say the election meet the good standard, because the more the merrier. So for me, my fear is that we are going to have serious voter apathy if INEC do not take steps to rekindle the hope of Nigerians in the electoral process.
What was your experience like the last election? What location did you?
For me, voting was a seamless experience. The only challenge we had was prevailing on the INEC personnel to upload the result, and the excuse that he tried it is not working, that he would do it later, just like every other person is saying. So it is the same thing all over.